What's up, everyone? My name is Sam, and I'm going to just be talking to you guys today about who I am and what I do and why I love being in the backcountry. So just a little bit about me is, I'm in software sales. I've been doing that for quite some time. It's been a good job, but as any job does in corporate America, you kind of struggle at being able to do what you really want to do, to get out, to be outside, have those adventures that I grew up doing. So a little background is, I grew up in a little small community in the mountains of Utah, where we didn't grow up with a lot of money, but we spent a lot of time outside. So, one of my first memories in the wintertime would be snowboarding. So my parents, they bought us, me and my brothers, they bought us this plastic snowboard. We called it the Hog Dogger. I actually don't know if it's actually called that. It had a pig on it, had a little handle, and it had these crappy straps that you would use to strap on. And that was my first experience snowboarding, and I would spend hours just tunneling my way down my parents' back hill. I also have been in, for my entire life, I've really been into like power sports, so off-road stuff, dirt bikes, ATVs, UTVs, snowmobiles. Like, I love those. And back then, we didn't really have any of those type things when I was a little kid. For me, growing up out in the wilderness was kind of a unique scenario that I live in the city now, and I kind of always am wanting to get out and do those things. And so in the wintertime, we spent a lot of time snowboarding or sledding and doing these types of things because we obviously didn't have to work as much because we kind of grew up on a horse farm. And so in the summertime, we were basically slaving away at my parents' horse farm. But so my first board was that Hog Dogger, and then I got a Kemper kit, and that had real metal edges, P-Tex, super rad board. Like, I was so excited, and I can remember hiking to the very top, strapping onto that, and of course my older brother just left me up to the top of this hill, and I went down, and I was going so fast, and I ate it really hard, and I cried a whole bunch and went right back inside. That was my first experience with the real snowboard, but luckily that didn't deter me, and I kept snowboarding. And so we, as little kids, we would continue to progress. We'd build huge jumps, we'd build quarter pipes, we would build, rails, all these crazy things, and hike to every mountain peak we could. And we couldn't really afford to go to the ski resorts, and my grades weren't that good, so I couldn't really get into we had like for like Canyon Ski Resort, they had or back then it was Wolf Mountain, but anyways, they would give like kids that got good grades, they could get a pass for really cheap. Well, I never did that. So some of my siblings were going to that all the time, but for me, I didn't. So I spent most of my time hiking in the backcountry, and we did have some really crappy, beat up Yamaha Exciters. I think one was a 340 Yamaha snowmobile, and then a 440. And my dad would always say, if you can start it, you can ride it. So me and my brothers would be out there pulling all day on that snowmobile, like just giving it all, trying to start it. And one Saturday, my dad made a major mistake. He pulled out this magical can of something and opened the hood and sprayed it in this round little cylinder, and then flipped up the kill switch and pulled it, and it started first pull, and that magical little can was starting fluid. So we figured that out, and so once we started being able to start our snowmobiles, we would take the snowmobiles and just take each other up all day long up the mountain. And where my parents live, we have a big, huge back mountain and pretty much endless terrain. I mean, it really is. It was a mountain community. It was pretty rad. So we spent all winter doing that. And our skills progressed, and we got better and started doing the trick scene and the rail scene, and trying to, in high school to outdo each other. And but in the summer times, I would always wanted a dirt bike, but my parents wouldn't let me because they thought they were too dangerous. So when I think I was around 16, we got an ATV, and we took that and we rallied it, we jumped it, and it was a 4x4 Suzuki 500, which was not made to do any of that. But we had a lot of fun on that, and we also got some Honda four-wheelers as well. And it wasn't actually until I moved out of the house and was married that I was still going to school, I worked a second job to pay for my first dirt bike, and we can get into that a little bit later, but that's kind of what we did in the summer. Ride our ATVs everywhere. We'd go down to the river, and we had this little surfer thing that we tied to the bridge and would surf the waves that we made as well, and float the river and try to jump our BMX bikes and so forth. But so that was kind of how we grew up. And as the older I got, you kind of feel like you get further and further away of being able to have these adventures with your friends and your brothers and siblings and so forth. And so, part of the reason we wanted to do BackCountry Life is to force us to say, hey, we want to make creative videos that provide value for other people, but also show that, even though you're a busy adult and you have a job, a family, or whatever, that you can get out and plan and have these adventures. For example, if you watch any of our earlier videos, our dream as little kids was to go heliboarding. And to be honest with you, back then, we thought that would be impossible. We thought that would never be something that we could do. It would be, and maybe you thought that as well. But the older we got, we kind of started thinking, hey, let's just figure out how to do it. Let's plan it. And yeah, we struck out for a couple years because we just didn't know, the different fly rates, where to go, all kind of different things, and we had injuries in between as well, but we made it happen. And honestly, our first time was actually in Eagle Pass in Revelstoke, and it felt really good. It was one of the best days in my life because it was just a dream that we've been wanting to do for so long with me and my brother and my cousins. We just wanted to do this so bad, and we finally accomplished it, so it felt so good, and it was just an amazing experience. And what's life about? I feel like we just we spend so much time at work, and eventually there was a time in my life where I wasn't going outside. I wasn't spending the quality time out in the backcountry, and that was causing issues for me, mentally. And I'm not saying that I was in depression, but it was hard and it was difficult, and I couldn't really figure out why that was the case. And then I realized that what was missing in my life was that I needed to be in the backcountry. I needed to be outside, living the adventures, because that's what motivated me. That's who I was, riding my dirt bike and going heliboarding, snowboarding, and going out and just being outside really fed who I am. And I wasn't being true to that. And so this is the reason we created BackCountry Life, is to provide value and knowledge to hopefully help others just like me and my brother and my cousin to be able to go out and live their dreams. I can't, as a little kid, I spent my entire days outside. I can't do that anymore, but I can plan it. I can make it happen. I can, figure out how to do these really cool, fun adventures in the backcountry. And so now I schedule time and make time to go do the things I love. In the last 10, 12 years, I've really jumped into the dirt bikes. I love the dirt bike. Every year we schedule time to go heliboarding. We save our money each month to be able to do that. We go with my brother, my cousins, and whoever else in our group of friends and family that want to come. We try to get them to come. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, hit us up in the comments below. We would love to be able to answer those. Thanks for watching.